Hello there, this is Jungstar, and welcome to another episode of the Iron Eagle. And today we are coming for around for another episode of the Iron Eagle is the military of the Fourth Reich. So we take a look at the first is the Fourth Reich mechanic suit. The most iconic military power from the patients into Germany it took for a last crucial warlord, and its sizes to accepted, including its own arms with its own as a mechanically halved, the armed blade behind the eagle on its back, and including the machine gun on the right arm. But this was to be believed or not. It took that for accepted. But this machine gun can only open fire for everything and is spoken to. But this mechanic suit is absolutely very strong, but that did not capable for the case of this point. Then of course, the literal peasantized to almost throughout the year from us. Until then, it was the end of the line, was a convenient for the military power of the Fourth Reich discussions with the mechanic suit was designed by Woodrow von Bismarck. Until that he made this as a one mechanic suit thing until his death in 2047 for almost any sizes for any other local military what he does, but simple as his ideals and some any other military attractions of him that could help out for any other soldiers, tanks, and any others, and inclusive to itself the one. And huge power of the design for cerebral heft, though it was the heaviest massacre in the Reich. Then it was the heaviest exploration. That's why they're similar to the military designs of the Fourth Reich mechanic armor can actually have it on, including the the fighting skills, and could beat guns. It could slaughter everything to take over the world, but simple as their deals. And now we took up for a little bit. At some point, there is a mandatory for the any familiar for the honor for the convention, all sizes of its queenland. But now, it's took for the basic strong military as a convenient. Before in the night time, they can even make their ambush all over the military bases, for almost for the half as their night. There's everything around the enemy camp, between the woods and some their caves, and that could ever ambush for their own at their left side. If it stopped firing, that could reload almost quickly, and then there could be hundreds, including blow down for their rocket launchers as a likable mercenary man. But then it took that as a mercenary attitude for the mercenary conscious for the armed forces of the other sizes, but then it took that as a black coalitionary. Then, however, it's about to be under discussion towards any other formidable sizes until they were done as well. And we have the huge military tank. It's called have to accept it. It's absolutely so bigger that could easily slow down to open fire. It was a headache and it turns to a big bang. It was now to be the tank Model 2045 throughout 100 years of our defeat. Then it's gotta be our revenge to take over the world, and someday we'll have the heavy suffer, and to our conquest to accept it. Now this huge tank could be allowed for any forbidden to the permanent, for this is why who does convey to its enormities for this military man to be outmatching out. This heavy tank have itself by including the rockets on the behind the distractions and to our own the machine gun. Then we could be fired off everything in the round for the world to take down in some places. And until then, it will be heaviest conquest for what we're here for, and to our final future in our Germany's provision. The Fourth Reich military has always got held on for almost a year. Now, we could have been noticed for this military's strongest mans and a prohibition menaces until it's almost to be done as a coalitionary military convertible under the consume, then such as the testimony of the handing out, designed by Heydrich Goebbels himself, they were saying, to recreate a biggest tank in the world and crush down any other countries who became one of them as the enemy of the Fourth Reich, and discussion to himself demands that he may deteriorate from it, including the Poland and any other lands. But this has to that tank was ever been designed by Reich Liechtenstein himself to take the rest of its powerful lands to be far beyond, and a grateful speech is what he has to. But then now for the kind of a thing that during our separations that our heaviest assault for the tank model 2045 can actually very conscious to make its way for the slow push on the west in size. But for now, we took our busy days for almost decades. Now, this would be another way to any attractions what we cared for. And some point does not necessary for what we believed then, and sizes for its any military attractions cannot be exploited. That's why we heard for is the military designment, and a crassionary for this was overwhelmed for under the darkness for almost a discussion for this year. However, it is most iconic military man is so different what it seemed, and that so it's ever to be reborn and size of it to be done for this as well as such. However, it's a capable of this military attractionary. The tanks can blow up for almost, and some tanks can other firing positions of themselves until the pelicanas. But then got itself by heavy damage for around 3 seconds until it could have been turned out. Before it made to an iron power for shield to be invulnerable tank. Until it's been completed, most of it to be done with this. All tanks as now model 2045, including the invulnerability version, until that was convenient, but then this invulnerability does not having any other damages because of the weakest tanks as the Panzer false tanks to any other to this day is all what we hear is the strongest tanks in the world. Next to the Death Corps of Krieg, most iconic military soldiers who fought 80 times of the war for their against for any mechanic machines, as the armies including the commissars for almost to be a year, and so here we are for the military advance. But nonsense. It was the military corps were kind of signed by the Friedrich Wolf to ground, but when he died in early 2041, and yet convenient to his military men could not be awarded to be stronger. Then, however, it's a most iconic military any other actions as most any desirement, until desired as most will taste in a page, and to be honest for their convenient for the military corps. And so for that, it is very desirable for these military attractions. And however, it is the hittable days for the thing until all those recorded by the Death Corps of Krieg were been notable for the military human wave, including our mechanic suit, but then to our bannered power does not relieved here yet. It is our local historical to be youngest heroes, and you will to be dominated forces against its will. But however, it's similar to itself to that as like any attractions with any hour. However, it's so similar what it seemed to be done as distractions until our military men goes ahead for the contest, including our bayonet and other fighting skills what we fight for. And so familiar what we find out does not convey have, as Death Corps soldiers were different to accept that as to be done, as the in life, war, in death, peace, in life, shame, in death, atonement. So, what we heard from the military men to be account for the military coordination for the others. However, it's so similar what we attracted it for any other familiar military banders at some point, including teams, to recognize the military shape, and even now we've been heading for the human sacrifice for what we lived for, and so for now, we took for decade and decade, and yet we made it through after it was the heaviest assault, and so here we are for another dimension. Then it is almost done. However, it has to be done as well to be such. Anything what we looked for is none till we heard. And so that was it for everything what we hearing after those. And so that is the one last powerful death corps of Krieg. We're actually now getting very conscious after it was the heaviest launched before it is to be done. And now the last one is the Fourth Reich aircraft, the most biggest place in the entire anything in the skies. Was designed by Rudolf Jaeger himself to be outmatched it, including the military's strongest independent. But for now, it could be another ways for the paradise is what we hear for any familiar for the military men. And so, we're getting out for heading for the military out shape. And now for the days and days will be heard of for now. It took up for any size for an hour. Though this as a huge flying skills is about to fly out, so just but not to spin, but it's only could break out is to be actioned as the aircraft between 1940 was actually designed for almost halved. The aircraft is now to be a model 2046 until to the 2060s. Almost forgotten sakes for everything what we here for. That was been succeeded as well as such. More than flying skills what we heard of to another to themselves. It's so hearable to fly around everything what we could, and until now everything has finally strongest for the military men. And now to our able for the blackest shapes. Then it's done as always. So, and what we here for is none to ourselves to be done as well convenient. And so, this should be a flying heaven. And so throughout the powerful town where the paradises in places was now turned. As the heaviest rockets, including the thing between the cutters, the Fourth Reich aircraft, mentally movement skills between rockets to and the machine guns, I could easily blow down any other cities that were blown up until it is done. But I would be believed if something were else for the Fourth Reich aircraft that was ever designed. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. Subscribe to my channel. Please share, like, and comment. Subscribe and turn the notifications on. This will be next episode for the Iron Eagle lore. It will be done as well to be as such. And so thank you for keep going for the narrations for me. And as always, I will keep it up for another videos for what you need to. And as always, I hope this will be another wave, or I will keep it next thing. So follow me on the WhatsApp, follow me in the Microsoft Teams, and then go ahead for the play market where am I, and don't forget to click the bell and notification on. And yes, I will be done as well for you guys. So I'm Jugstaria, and please like, subscribe, and comment. And so happy late New Year 2021. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Jugstaria is out.